going on, a lot of craziness happening across the world. On yesterday, there was a terror attack in New York City. 8 people were killed, dozens were injured, and it has led to some pretty expected responses. And I'm trying to tread carefully here because we have to simultaneously recognize what happened, what it was, but not give voice to, or not only not give voice to the bigotry, but to tear down the bigotry that's trying to be sown. And from the White House, it used to be that we would have to fight this in the legal system. Yeah, it was always here. We've had a precedent that was been set since 9/11, where we would look at anyone of the Islamic faith, anyone with a foreign sounding name, right? We weren't even specific with it. If they had a foreign sounding name, then they generalized it. Conservatives primarily, and there's some liberals perhaps, but primarily conservatives oversimplified it to simply being immigrants and making a fear-mongering, not making a fear-mongering, but fear-mongering around that. And that is that's exactly what they want and need. They really want and need all of these tragedies to happen to help forward their agenda. It's sad. Think about this. And this is true. It's a sad truth. Events that hurt Americans that are not committed by white people, right? I gotta qualify it, because they said nothing. They said do not politicize this when 60 people were killed and hundreds were injured in Las Vegas. It turned out to be a white Christian guy, right? They said nothing about that. Let's not politicize it. Let's take our time. And they took days to even say anything. President Trump, so they took their time with that. But once they can qualify it into something that actually benefits their worldview and their agenda, they go headlong into it, saying some of the most draconian things. Now, forget the bigotry of it, right? The bigotry is one thing, but the action points that they want to take are authoritarianist. It is out of control. And I want to play some clips of President Obama. Yeah, we wish at this point, not Obama, but President Trump, reacting and saying what, basically what his plans are as a result of what happened yesterday. And before I play this, I have to point out again, they have not done anything about the 60 people who were killed in Las Vegas. Nothing. And yet they want faster and immediate action because this guy allegedly screamed Allah Akbar. And because of that, now it's something they can act on, which shows you, it shows you they do not have an interest or a concern in the terrorism as long as it's not Islamic terrorism. If it's Islamic terrorism, they're concerned. They want to do something about it, which lets you know they're not really concerned about your life. They just are concerned about who killed you. And so long as who killed you is somebody that they can use as a political football. Period. And as absurd of a statement as that sounds, it's the truth. That's what we're dealing with. That's who and what we're dealing with here. That's what's running. That's what's in the White House. I want you to listen to this. I'm pulling it up now. I want you to listen to President Trump as he describes what he expects to be done in the wake of this terrorist attack, which killed 8 people. And you know what? I mean, again, the reason I said we have to tread lightly is because we cannot so easily and so quickly walk past the fact that 8 people are dead. Even though conservatives are using this as a political football, and even though they aren't going to do anything about what happened in Las Vegas, they don't want to do anything about what happened in Las Vegas. They don't really care about what happened in Las Vegas because they can't use what happened in Las Vegas as a political football. But now they found somebody, oh, here's an act of terrorism that was committed by someone of the Islamic faith, someone we could probably tied to ISIS. Well, that's their worldview. They only care if it's somebody brown or somebody black or somebody Muslim who kills you. This is your president. Take a listen.
That was a horrible event, and we have to stop it, and we have to stop it cold. we also have to come up with punishment that's far quicker and far greater than the punishment these animals are getting right now. They'll go through court for years. At the end, there'll be who knows what happens. We need quick justice, and we need strong justice. Much quicker and much stronger than we have right now. Because what we have right now is a joke, and it's a laughing stock. And no wonder so much of this stuff takes place. And I think I can speak for plenty of other countries, too, that are in the same situation. So with that being said, we will be starting our cabinet meeting today.
Shut up. Shut up, Donald. Don't listen. Shut up. It's so funny. You know what I'm about to be a misogynist for a second and speak in some terms that are probably a form of toxic masculinity. I will preface it by that. So I probably shouldn't say it, but I'm going to say it. You know what I can't stand is a dude who's a chicken shit coward on any other day of the week, but then they find something that they could really get their manhood around. They be like, yeah, I'm going to talk tough now. I could talk. Listen, you little, ooh, those words I can't say. I'm gonna calm myself here. I'm not gonna say that. But he's talking with a certainty, and he's talking with a level of hubris and a level of intensity that he did not even show when 600 Americans were hurt, injured, and then 50 of them killed in Las Vegas. 59 were killed in Las Vegas. And now he's all of a sudden, he can talk with a toughness and a fortitude and a certainty that he doesn't show for anything else. That's because he has only one area. Conservatives have only one area that they actually have any chutzpah, any nerve, any gumption around. And that's in the war on terror. Everything else, they mince words, they equivocate, they run around the subject, they run in circles, everything else, but he wants to talk like he's a tough guy now. Donald Trump, you is not a tough guy, bruh. You're not. You're chicken shit coward. You're an idiot on top of that, right? You're an idiot to boot. It's one thing to be a coward. It's another thing to be an idiot coward. At least if you were a coward, you could have some intelligence and use words to kind of confuse people and not really let them know that you're a coward because you're intelligent, but you're not even intelligent. And now he wants to talk about what's horrible about what he's saying, besides just the mannerism and the toughness that he's trying to convey when conservatives are really like, they're quite, I mean, this is the same dude who skipped out on Vietnam 4 times because of his feet, right? Wait, what, bone spurs or something in his foot, right? This is a guy who, and this is just like conservatives. They have all of the nerve in the world when they're sending your kids to war, but they will not go to war themselves. They will not send their kids to war. Just like them. That's exactly how he's talking now. He's trying to talk. God forbid an actual terrorist attack occurs on his watch, because he would try to prove that he's tougher than George W. Bush, who killed hundreds of thousands of innocent civilians in Iraq and Afghanistan. Because these dudes, they actually have nothing. It's like buying a car for them, right? It's an extension of their small penises. They really look for war, and they look for these types of conflicts so that they can show their bravado when they really have nothing in between their legs to support that bravado. All right, now I'm going to cut off the toxic masculinity for a second. Cut it off. But just, you gotta call these dudes out, because they always get up and I'm gonna say this. At least John McCain had the nerve to actually go to war. He's a neocon, and he helped contribute to the destabilization of the Middle East right along with George W. Bush. So I'm not lifting him up as a hero, but at least he had the nerve to go to war. And we got a commander-in-chief here who's talking in the language that would have gotten us in a war if they could put this on a foreign nation. And he was too cowardly. I mean, you had your chance to be a real American hero, Trump. Okay, sorry. Let me dial the toxic masculinity down, right? But that's something I hate. Like don't talk shit if you can't back it up. Don't run around acting like you a tough guy. Donald Trump is not a tough guy. 99% of the conservatives out there are not tough guys. That's why they have to buy all the guns in the world. That's why they do all these things that symbolize strength, because they're really scared on the inside. They're really terrified. I mean, if you think about their fear, their xenophobia, it's really a fear of inadequacy. And there's a fear that these brown people are going to come over here and take over, and brown people are going to replace them. Listen, you have no fear of being replaced if you're confident in yourself and who you are. I mean, at the core of it, they're cowards, and they're afraid that they can't compete in a world of people who don't look like them. So anyway, the core of what he's saying, put all that aside. I'm done with that part. The core of what he's saying, though, is terrifying if you actually like the Constitution, if you actually like due process, if you actually like people to not have to endure cruel and unusual punishment. I mean, listen to the core. Listen past his bravado. I'm going to take my own advice. I'm going to listen past his BS talk, right? All of his intensity, Donald Trump, you don't scare anybody, man. It's nobody. I mean, Kim Jong-un is sitting. I know, guys. I know. I shouldn't be egging him on, right? Because he's a little bitch baby, right? I shouldn't egg him on, because you get people like this and you egg them on and they're like, oh, I'm going to shoot off a nuclear weapon. But, I mean, Kim Jong-un is looking at this dude is like, and laughing. Anyway, sorry. I know. It's not my finest moment, but, Listen to what he says, though. Listen to the key of what he said.
And we have to stop it, and we have to stop it cold.
Yeah.
We also have to come up with punishment that's far quicker and far greater.
Far quicker, far greater, saying I want to get rid of due process because we don't want to take the time to actually give people a fair trial. Forget about the fact that whether or not they're American citizens or not. Forget about all that, despite the fact that some constitutional rights are extended to people who are not American citizens. Forget about all that. Let's go quicker. Right? Matter of fact, let's just drag them out into the streets and let's just execute them in the streets right now, right? Because we got to do something that's far quicker and far greater, right? Let's expose them to cruel and unusual punishment. So he's literally talking about violating the Constitution here. But to conservatives, this is like music to their ears. This is music to their ears because that's what they get off on. They get off on, they get off on loving the Constitution when it's in favor of them or when it's serving them, and just ignoring it or completely violating it when it's not serving them. Roy Moore, Alabama, thinks that the First Amendment to the Constitution is for Christians only. Right? This is quite literally saying that the Constitution is for Christians, only for us, only for this club and no one else. This is their view of the world. This is their view of America. They do not believe that people who are not like them deserve any rights or freedoms. And here the President of the United States from the White House is conveying the message that he wants to bend the Constitution to expedite or do away with due process. And, hey, we got to punish them even greater. We got to be greater. We got to be harder. Shut up, little boy. Oh, orange ass boy.